The film starts with Lieutenant Mitch Buchannon arriving at work to perform his duties as a lifeguard on the beaches of Emerald Bay, Florida. He sees a man parasailing on the water, but the man hits his head on a rock, forcing Mitch to spring into action. He dives into the ocean and swims to the man's rescue. Following this, Mitch goes for his morning run around the bay. He passes through Sergeant Ellerby, a local policeman and beach patrol officer with whom he frequently messes with regarding their status as enforcers of the law around that area. While continuing his run, Mitch spots a small boy picking up a pouch of the drug flakka on the beach. Mitch takes it from the boy and observes it. Mitch's fellow lifeguards are Stephanie Holden, who Mitch considers the best after himself, and C.J. Parker, who is the object of affection for aspiring lifeguard Ronnie Greenbaum. Ronnie is flying a toy craft on the beach with his colleague Dave when C.J. runs up to wish Ronnie good luck on the upcoming qualifiers, but Ronnie can barely put a sentence together around her. Arriving on the bay is Matt Brody on his motorcycle. He tries to introduce himself to one of the prospective lifeguards, Summer Quinn, but she ignores him. Brody then meets Mitch and Stephanie, explaining his new position on the team and his status as a two-time Olympic gold medal winner, but neither of them care. Mitch tells Brody he has to earn his job, and Brody tells him off. Meanwhile, Victoria Leeds, the new owner of the beach's Heimlich Club, is meeting with Councilman Rodriguez over a real estate deal. In exchange for his services, Leeds gives him a new watch that her men wear. Ronnie is on the beach with Dave eating baby carrots when he sees CJ again. He starts to choke, leading CJ to perform the Heimlich on him. Ronnie spits out the carrot, but he also has an erection. Before CJ can see it, Ronnie jumps onto a wooden lawn chair and gets his whole groin stuck between the boards. Things get worse when Mitch comes over to help, as observes Ronnie's got both his beef and biscuit stuck in there. Other beachgoers show up and start filming him. When Mitch opts to pull it out like a tooth, Ronnie tries running but instead falls face first, breaking the chair and getting unstuck. Mitch rounds up all the new hopeful lifeguards to begin their test in the obstacle course. Brody sits it out as he feels he doesn't have to do it. Summer gives it her all and passes through the course. By the end of the day, Mitch announces Summer, Ronnie, and Brody as his new trainees. Mitch goes to Captain Thorpe to complain about Brody. Thorpe tells Mitch that Brody is a well-known skilled swimmer, but he lost it all when he puked in the pool during a race after a night of hard partying. His position on the team is part of a community service deal, as well as a ploy to make sure the Bay doesn't lose his funding, so Mitch has to work with Brody whether he likes it or not. At night, Summer and CJ find Brody sleeping under the pier. CJ takes him to find a place to crash, making him think she is taking him to Steph's home, but he is really going to be staying with Mitch. Mitch lets him stay and makes him sleep on the couch next to a fish tank with a minifigure of Mitch watching him. Brody begins training under Mitch across the beach. He nearly steps on a poisonous sea urchin until Mitch points it out. On the water, Rodriguez tells Lees that he made arrangements with his people for the real estate deal, but because he did not deliver on time, Lees has her two thugs Frankie and Leon come around to intimidate Rodriguez. He tries to call Lees his bluff by saying he knows about her pushing drugs. She leaves her men to deal with Rodriguez. As the guys continue their training, Lees drives up and has Mitch introduce her. She invites the whole team to an open house that night at the Heimlich. Not long after she leaves, Steph answers a call about a yacht burning up on the beach. The whole team, including the trainees, rush out there to find the burning boat. Mitch hops on the boat and rescues 3 women but also finds an unconscious man. Brody dives under the water to try and help, but he gets caught under the fire. Steph uses her jet ski to splash water around the fire while Summer pulls Brody out. When they get back to the shore, they find that the man they pulled out is dead, and is Rodriguez. The team sits down to have lunch and discuss the fact that a dead body has turned up. In addition to finding more flakka on the women they rescued, they were high of the stuff. They decide to attend the open house to get any more information on leads that they can get. That evening, the team goes undercover at the open house party. They assign Brody to be lookout to have eyes on Leeds. He does manage to get Leeds alone, but he doesn't get any information because he's more focused on getting drunk. Ronnie distracts Leeds while the others go to work by doing a crazy dance that gets CJ's attention. Mitch then goes to confront Brody over his failure in his task. Brody curses Mitch out and tells him he's just a lifeguard. Mitch humiliates Brody further by scaring him into falling into the pool, where he pukes again and everyone sees. Brody plays it off by telling everyone do shots, but he passes out. The next morning, Mitch tells Brody that he is great at what he does when he's on his own, but when it comes to working as part of a team, he fails to do so because he is selfish and only cares about himself. Brody begs for his second chance and tells Mitch and Summer that he noticed Rodriguez wearing the watch that Lee's goons wear. The trio head to the morgue to continue their investigation by disguising themselves as hospital staff. In the morgue, they find Rodriguez's corpse and autopsy files. They see that there was no smoke in his lungs, which means he died before the boat caught fire. Mitch orders Brody to look under Rodriguez's scrotum for anything, but it's just an opportunity by Mitch to further humiliate Brody by getting pics of Brody looking at a dead guy's taint. Summer sees Frankie and Leon approaching. The three hide in the drawers, but Brody ends up hiding on top of a dead old lady. To make things worse, he has fat from a corpse dripping on his face. The goons then open up Rodriguez's drawer and swap out an autopsy file to make it look like he did die from the fire. Brody then freaks out when the fat drips into his mouth, so he jumps out and gets hand sanitizer on his mouth. They are further exposed when Summer's phone rings. Leon grabs the phone and runs out with Frankie. Leon tosses Summer's phone to Frankie. Mitch goes after Frankie while Brody and Summer try to catch Leon. Mitch chases Frankie on a jet ski and finds him trying to break into a family's home. The two fight in a little girl's bedroom after Frankie breaks the phone until Mitch puts a diaper bin on Frankie's head and knocks him out the window into the pool. Mitch, Brody, and Summer all meet with Sergeant Ellerby as he angrily tells them to stop getting involved in the case. Captain Thorpe also shows up as the three try explaining that they did have evidence against Lisa's men, but all the evidence has been destroyed. Thorpe threatens to fire Mitch if he continues his investigation. Frankie gets away with everything after complaining to the police over Mitch's actions. Mitch observes the Heimlich getting their fish from another company, which he thinks is how they are smuggling Flocka onto the beach. He and Brody go undercover and sneak into the Heimlich's kitchen where they find Lisa's men handling drugs. Mitch calls Ellerby to report, but Ellerby is tied up with having found Dave's body being partially torn up by sharks. Ellerby also has Thorpe listen to Mitch calling. Thorpe calls Mitch into his office to fire him. He appoints Brody to be the new lieutenant, but Mitch tells Thorpe that the position should go to Stephanie since she knows the beach just as well as he does. The others aren't happy with Brody taking the position, despite his attempts to defend himself. Brody starts to handle things on the beach despite not having everyone's support. He catches a punk on the beach stealing people's stuff with the cooler that pulls things in. He tackles the thief and scares him away. When he opens the cooler, Brody finds a bag of Flocka. He then asks Steph and CJ to help give back everyone's things. Brody goes to Ellerby's office to give him a chocolate smoothie but also to use the cooler to take a file off his desk without him knowing. Mitch takes a new job at a phone store and cuts off connection with the rest of his team. When he looks ready to give up, he is approached by his old mentor, the original Mitch. He inspires Mitch to keep up his work and to not give up on himself or his people. Brody approaches Summer with the file, showing Dave's corpse. Ronnie sees the pics and recognizes Dave. He tells the others that Dave mentioned working with Leeds. Ronnie later shows Brody how he can hack into Leeds' servers, leading them to discover Leeds' ultimate plan. She wants to privatize the beach so that she can eliminate competition and spread drugs around undetected. The guys tell the ladies about this plan and they come together to stop Leeds. The team infiltrates Leeds' yacht during a party. Steph, CJ, and Ronnie find Murray Chen, a real estate guy that Leeds kidnapped as part of her scheme. Meanwhile, Brody swims under the boat and finds that Leeds has been smuggling drugs in the hull. Brody resurfaces to tell Summer to get in touch with Brody. When he gets back on the boat, he gets knocked out by Frankie. She pushes the cage into the water, which Ronnie and CJ see. Just as Brody appears to accept his fate, he is pulled out of the cage. He sees Summer reviving him, but is really Mitch, to Brody's disgust. Leeds is preparing to get away on a helicopter. Mitch tells Ronnie to work the fireworks display to throw the helicopter pilot's sight off. Ronnie panics at first but gets confidence after CJ kisses him. As the fireworks go off, Mitch and Brody fight Frankie and Leon again. Frankie gets knocked into the water while Leeds shoots Leon dead for his incompetence. The guys go after her but she shoots Mitch in the shoulder and he falls into the water. He gets back up as Leeds holds Brody at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Ronnie and CJ find a big red button. Ronnie flips the switch and Mitch notices the lights near him activating. Brody has Leeds' gun, making her run out of bullets as Mitch grabs a Roman candle, says a one-liner, and the firework at Leeds, obliterating her. Mitch then reveals he got up by using a sea urchin to boost his adrenaline, but he is in need of medical attention. Back on the shore, Mitch gets treated, and Ellerby shows up to apologize to Mitch for doubting his claims. Thorpe shows up to try and berate Mitch, but Brody punches him in the face, and Ellerby arrests Thorpe and Frankie. Later on, Ronnie and CJ hook up, and Brody and Summer appear to start a relationship as well. They join Mitch and Stephanie as Mitch officially instates the trainees as lifeguards on the bay. He then introduces them to their new captain, Casey Jean, who enters in slow-mo. The film ends with the team doing their own slow-mo run on the beach, only for Brody to tumble hard on the sand.